So, good evening, friends. My name is Vivek Prakash, and I welcome you all to this October month webinar by Project Managers Club of Pune. And I am here with my colleagues, Ketan Gandhi will be around, and Mahesh Deosthale, and with other friends who are working behind the scene, not currently in the show, but I think they will be. Some of them will be here very soon. So I welcome you all for this webinar. Today there is a topic which is related to risk management, and there are a lot of interest around risk management because risk management itself is not any less risky. Actually, it's quite risky subject as such. So people do like to know a lot about the risk management. And today we going to talk about two standards of risk management. One is ISO 31000 framework, and the second is PMI framework for risk management. And we see their combined effect. One is working as a higher level, one is working at the very working level, and how they together can bring greater result for us. So when we combine two things in India, we call it Jugalbandi, right? So we'll see that Jugalbandi between ISO 31000 and the PMI Risk Management Framework. And to throw light on this and to discuss and giving you insights in this, we have Mahesh Deosthale. And as such, he has already come a couple of times. He has given webinars earlier also. And to give you, just to remind or revive those memories, what he is all about. So he is more than 30 years of experience now, has a very good experience in IT, especially very specialized in testing also, and in the securities. He's specialized in program and project management, risk management, and IT service management. So he's a certified Prince 2 trainer, we can say approved trainer. He's also a certified trainer for ITIL. He is also a postgraduate diploma in cyber law. So quite a good on security side, or quite a good in looking into risk side as such. He's also a GDPR DPO. DPO means Data Protection Officer, right, Mahesh?
Yes.
Okay, so he's also a GDPR DPO. He is a certified ISO 31000 risk manager and NIST risk management implementer. So quite good hands-on on risk management. And he is going to give you insights about these standards and how they work together and give you better practical results and very effective results, and give you methods or ways how we can really utilize these standards and do better risk management in our project, right? So Mahesh, over to you for this interesting session. And
Thank you, Vivek.
thank you.
Vivek, we will start with poll.
Okay, can you start with the two framework of the two examples you talked, you were discussing
no problem.
about, and then we go for the poll as such?
No. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Vivek. Thanks everyone for joining and deciding to spend your evening with us. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you're not able to see my screen, let me know.
We can see.
Okay, so today we'll be talking about integrating ISO 31000 as a risk management standard and PMI risk framework, okay, risk management framework. Okay. So let me start with two real life case studies, and they are available on in the public domain on BSI and PMI websites. So a large power company in India, they decided to upgrade their risk management processes, and they decided to upgrade it across their subsidiary companies and for their joint ventures also. So with their partners also. So they decided to include their partners into their own risk management processes. So it was not only at a level of a project or a program, but they decided to go at an enterprise level, including their subsidiaries and including their partners and joint ventures also. So you can imagine this is one of the largest power company in India, and the scope was multi organizations, multi companies. So they decided to go ahead with ISO 31000, which gives the enterprise-wide perspective for the risk management. So as we go ahead, we will talk about how ISO 31000 is more appropriate or applicable at an enterprise level. So that is what they decided to go ahead with. This exercise went on almost for more than a year, and almost hundreds of hours of efforts were spent into that. And when they sat down and when they looked at the results, the first thing that was observed was they were able to bring the standardization. And along with the standardization, they were able to optimize their entire risk management. They were able to bring the visibility across the different organizations, different parts of the organizations, across the programs, portfolios which were running within this subsidiaries and their partners' joint ventures. Because of this, their risk monitoring and risk mitigation was improved to the great extent. This larger scale implementation brought the visibility. They were able to gather the lessons across the corners of the entire ecosystem, and that helped them to mitigate the risks in a faster, efficient way. Okay. When these partners, the subsidiary companies and partners, when they started looking at the risk from a higher perspective, the teams, the cultures across these partners and within these subsidiary companies, it was so well integrated. It got well integrated. The weaving across the culture was increased to a very high level. The risk awareness and one of the major part in the success when you want to implement the risk management practices within your organization, it is the awareness and the accountability across your employees, across your suppliers, partners, the entire ecosystem basically. So with this single framework and common implementation, they were able to bring the very high level of awareness, and everybody knew that they are responsible now for any risk. It's not that I am just a junior person, I am a fresher, and then I don't have to do anything with the risk. No, it is everybody, right? From the top management to the junior most person within the organization, everybody is responsible for risk and risk mitigation. So this kind of awareness and accountability was built to a very high level. People were engaged into these practices, and because they opted for this, well known, and that increased the confidence of the stakeholders also, right? So this was the result or the power of implementing an enterprise-wide risk management framework of ISO 31000, right? Let's look at another case study wherein the company, the business, they opted for PMI's risk management framework at a program level. at a project program level. It was a large project. Okay. So a mega refinery project in the Middle East with a high complex index was the subject of case study, and this is available on the PMI website also. So the results again were early process standardization. But now you see the differences here, the implementation or the adoption of this PMI risk management framework was at that project level. Of course, that was a big project, large project valued at 12 billion US dollars. But then still it was at the project level. So where the processes at the enterprise, at the organizational level changed, not majorly. It was completely focused on the project because the project was of very high value, high visibility. But still, they were able to bring the process standardization, enhance visibility, not only towards the threats, but towards the opportunities also. And this helped them, this contributed for them in the decision making at the major milestones. Most of their decision making became proactive because they were focusing at the project level. They were using the standard methodology. They were able to identify the risks way ahead of the time. Right? Just a quick point I would like to touch here is, see, whenever anyone says risk, our minds are molded in a way wherein we think it is a threat. Okay, it is something negative. I may lose time, I may lose money, I may lose something of value. But in theory and in practice, risk is not only the threat, it is not only the negative impact, okay? But it is the positive impact as well. Okay? Risk as a subject within itself is very interesting because the characteristics of risk are very interesting. I find them, I like them. So what happens is when you identify a risk and when you decide to respond to that risk, mitigate that risk in a particular way, whether it is a threat or an opportunity, and then there are different types of responses, etc. Right? So when you decided to take one particular approach to respond to that risk, it will generate another threat or opportunity for you. You may not be able to mitigate or cover all the objectives which are being impacted or which will probably get impacted because of this risk. You will not be able to cover all of them, and something will remain as a residual risk. So it's like very cyclic. I respond to one thing, something else comes up. Right? And hence it matters how much proactively you can identify the risk, you can analyze the risk, and you be ready, you prepare yourself to respond to that risk. And when this refinery project related risk, they were able to respond to those risks in a very proactive and positive manner, and the project was a success. Correct? So these are the two examples, one from ISO, wherein the implementation or adoption was at the enterprise level. The another one is a very large, but still a project level. Right? Okay.
We can do the poll first, right?
Yeah, we can do if
Okay.
necessary. So shall I
you
stop
can go
sharing
back
for a
to
moment?
Yeah, you can stop sharing or go back to this, or let me put the poll one by one. So, friends, we have some polls because Mahesh want to know the audience, and but he has set the context. So let's see how. Just please respond to this poll so we have better idea. Please respond. And we have 10 more seconds to go. Few more seconds. Just please reply. Okay. Should I close it? Okay. 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 Let me close this now. Okay. Should I share the results?
Yes.
So you're able to see the results? Everybody can see the results? Right. So I think most of the time it is monthly and quarterly.
Quarterly.
Sometime
Yes.
half yearly, and in many places we don't have that process altogether.
Right. So
But that
independent
is
risk review is not happening. That's what 5 of
right.
the respondents said.
Yeah, so many places
So I
doesn't happen
think
actually.
this will be
Yes,
so this will be very useful for them to understand why these things are important.
correct, correct,
Absolutely.
correct. So let's go to the next poll,
Right.
and
Next
I
one.
go to the next poll, and so here the answer is just yes or no. If you have ever taken a risk management training, please say yes, otherwise no.
Training could be maybe internal to your organization or some external training from some training institutions, your self-learning
Not self-learning, training, I think, right?
training, yeah,
Self-learning will not be
will not be qualified as a training.
qualified as a training. Okay. Yeah, please respond for 10 more seconds to go. This is a simple answer to do because it's a true and false situation. No need to give a lot of stress to your mind, right? It's a matter of facts. And let me stop this and share the results with you. Okay, it will be interesting to know the
Many of you have not taken the training in the risk management.
right. In fact, majority of the people do not have any training in risk management.
Correct. Entire 27001 standard, ISO 27001 standard, ISMS, which is very popularly known as ISMS, it is based on the risk management.
Hmm.
Right? How do you manage the risk to the information that your organization holds and the information which is very critical for your organization to provide the services? So it is the crux, it is the core of your uh, ISMS also. So I
I
think
think this will be quite useful because most of
yeah,
the people, like majority of the people, have never gone through any kind of or formal training on
correct.
risk management. I stop this and will go with the next poll.
Yeah.
Next poll is like a lot of people do use. So, which standard you use?
You may not have taken the training yourself, but you may know that within your organization, the organization they follow some of the standards. So these are few of quite popular standards.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think one more option should be here. I don't know.
Mhm.
This should also be there. I think so. I'm just getting an I feel that probably many people, quite possible, they may not know.
Hmm. Yeah, the option of I don't know kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could have been added.
Okay. A few more minutes, a few more seconds. Sorry, few more seconds. Can you reply quickly? Okay. The many people probably don't know also. So let me end this and give you the results. To this question, only
So
50% people responded, first of all.
yeah,
So I consider that maybe 25% probably may fall into category I don't know, probably.
But even after, like whoever has responded, it's 60% of them, they are saying that no specific framework.
No
Now
specific.
that underlines why those two case studies were success.
Yes.
Both of them were at a large level, at a large project level and at a enterprise
Hmm.
level. Both of them were successful because of the standardized usage or implementation of standardized framework. Because with
Correct.
that, and we'll see this point again, the people involved across these organizations, they start talking the common language, which
Hmm.
helps ease out a lot of things. Like I'm an auditor, 27,001 auditor, and I attend audits, I do the implementation work. And what I see is sometimes even within the same company, same organization, different departments follow the different risk registers, risk
Yeah.
register templates. Somebody will start using one template and then it doesn't get standardized, and then they don't know which one to follow, why to do the standardization, and the things get scattered. So single
Correct.
framework makes a lot of difference. Yes.
Okay. So let's one more
The
poll, right?
last one, yeah, the last one.
Yeah, one more. I think it is giving a quite insight to you first, Mahesh, before you give
Yes.
insight to the people. Okay. So let's
Yes.
let this one also. What is the training frequency for risk management within your organization? You might have not taken, but organization might have
This is my,
hold the training. And here you have put up, I don't know. Okay, so
I don't
that's
know. I
a
missed
good
it
thing.
putting it in the earlier question.
That may be applicable to the previous question also. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, please respond. A couple of more seconds. Respond whatever it is. If you don't know, say don't know. It is also good. This time the Mahesh has given a chance to tell you, I don't know.
Say, I don't know.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. So let me close this and share the
Close this.
results
Yeah.
with you. And so look at this results. So here also, I think it's quite similar to the previous
Previous one.
previous three responses. I don't know is the most, and never is the next one. So,
Great.
so that's prove my statement, which I said in the beginning. Risk management is risky, right? The poll actually will tell, right? Just ditto
Absolutely.
my statement.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me stop this sharing. I
Sure.
think I think I'm pretty sure, Mahesh, your session will be of immense use to these people, which is where the
Absolutely.
risk management is indeed appear to be risky.
Absolutely. So I'll share my screen again.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. And before I get into these questions, just a point. See, risk management is not something that we should learn, we should be aware about, and we should be practicing only for our projects or our organizations. A
Hmm.
simple thing like when we decided to have this webinar, and this PPT was prepared, and the copy of the PPT is with Vivek also, right? Between me and Vivek, we knew that I am going to share my screen, but then there is a copy of this is with Vivek also. Why? Because we were trying to respond to a risk that something may go wrong at my end. Correct? So the risk management is at such small levels in our work life, in our personal life. So learning some formal, organized, standard ways will be of definitely great help at each time. Correct? Okay. Is it okay if I take these questions a little later now that we have taken the poll?
Yeah, yeah, there will be too many questions, I think, huh?
Too many question answers.
Right, right, right. So let's
Okay,
take it a little
so
later.
yeah, let's look at this. For those case studies, what we discussed. Let's look at what were the key success factors. Why those why those projects, why that enterprise-wide risk framework adoption was successful. The first and a very important reason is leadership, sponsorship, and risk-aware culture. So leadership decided to bring the risk management culture, or to make their ecosystem, their people risk aware. Right? Everybody should take the accountability towards controlling the risk. And that is what drives from top to bottom, from leadership to the freshest entry in the organization. And that is what exactly happened in both of those cases. Right? Then, as I said, yes, it brings unified language, common language, terminologies, templates across the departments. And in fact, this is a real life example. Yesterday only, like there is one BCMS and PIMS implementation is going on, and when I asked for the templates that they maintain currently, they gave me 2 different templates. And what the standard asks is for something different only. So we had to, take both best of all the 3 words and see to it that what aligns with the requirement of the standard and the controls, and then we have created a standardized template. Right. So this standardization, templatization immensely helps. Then regular communication and visibility to the decision makers. Many times what happens is teams, they work in silos. A project team may be working with some very nice practices, following some good processes, but then there is no visibility. They're not promoting, they're not sharing what the work that they do. And this is not only the risk management which says bring the visibility, but even the ITSM also, like ITIL also, there is a principle in ITIL which says bring out the visibility. Whatever you are doing, you show it. Otherwise, you yourself are saying that whatever I am doing is not important. Right? So bring this visibility, do the regular communication. Your peers, your senior management, your team members, they should know how you are building this culture of standardization and how you are bringing the best practices into action. Ongoing training and maturity assessments. Now, these are 2 different things. One is ongoing training. Now, some of you have replied, rather many of you have replied saying that no training taken. Correct? As per these ISO standards, minimum once in a year, every employee should undergo this training. It could be classroom, online, any which method way, but then they should be trained. And even if you are trained last year and this year, nothing much has changed, it could be a good refresher for you. It could be a checkpoint wherein you will see that whether you are still aligned or at some places the ball is dropped. So ongoing training is, yes, one of the key factors. Then the maturity assessments. And recently I attended one seminar wherein the people search talked about how the ITIL process maturity assessment helped Vodafone at their global level. So Vodafone idea is at India level, but at Vodafone global level, they did this ITIL maturity assessment. Correct? You look at the other standards of ISO like 27001, 42001. Every standard has got every year and surveillance audit. So it's not enough that I get certified, I attain a certain level of maturity and I'm happy and then I'm forgetting about it. No, it has to be an ongoing activity. So you need to keep on doing this maturity assessments and bring the continual improvements also. Okay. Then integration with performance and compliance systems. See, what happens is sometimes this risk management, my continual improvement, my project management, all these processes, they remain in silos. How my project is performing, that's a different story. And how I'm managing the risk, that's a different story. So these teams are different. They work in silos and there is no collaboration. There is no integration between these processes. There is no communication between these processes. Result, at their own level, they are good. But when it comes to how my organization is performing, it comes at a very lower scale. So same thing happens with the risk management also. So while you are implementing the risk management, don't only look at implementing it at one particular level. Try to integrate it with your performance systems, with your compliance system, and that is how the other ISO standards also are working. Even the PMI Risk Management Framework, it talks about uh, different levels at a strategic level, at a portfolio level, program level, project level. So these levels are integrated. We'll see a picture there. So these levels are integrated. They talk with each other. The the best practices or processes that I put, they talk with each other. By framework itself, it is said that they should be integrated. Right? We should link the levels. As I said, at the organization, then the parts of the organization, then the portfolios, then the programs. So these levels should be linked with each other in terms of how do you see a risk. A simple risk like I may not have the required skill or competent resource is applicable at project level, is equally applicable at the program level, and is equally applicable at the organization level or portfolio level. But your risk treatment will be very different at these three different levels. Right? So linking of these levels is very important. Then the process continuity happened in both these case studies, because both these case studies what I spoke about, they were over a longer period, more than a year and a half kind of. Right? So everybody, all the teams, they need to maintain the continuity in the processes. If you are not improving, it is okay, but whatever you have said you will do, it is very important that you should follow it. If you drop the ball in between, then the results may not be as great. Take the help of different tools, templates, right? Try to automate it as much as possible. And nowadays, even this all the compliance requirements, compliance standards, you will get the tools which will automate it. Right? It will templatize, yes, for sure, but it will automate it also. So there are technology tools which will sit onto your environments, and then they will collect the data logs from your systems, and then they will fulfill and then they will tell you whether you are fulfilling the compliance requirements or not in terms of the technology. So bring that technology to your usage. It will help you to proactively identify and respond to many of the technical risks as well. Right? And the last one, but a very important one, is don't blindly follow any framework. I am talking about 31,000, or I am talking about PMI RMF. There are so many others also, but don't use one and then start using it as is. There is no one shoe fits all kind of a solution for. You have to see what your requirements are, and then you are encouraged to make the combination of different best practices, which will optimize your systems at that point in time. And as the time progresses, you are expected to mature in these tools and processes and technologies. So these are some of the common factors which actually helped in both these case studies to be the successful implementation or adoption of risk management frameworks. Okay. Then let's get a little overview of both these standards. We'll not go into the details of it, but at least an overview, an introduction of what these things are. So this is how ISO 31000 looks. Okay, so there are principles. And at the core of the principle, it is the value creation and protection. So how do I create the value through my risk management practices and processes? And how do I protect the information, the data, which is the core intention, purpose of my risk management. So it says there are these principles which say that yes, your framework, your solution should be integrated. We saw that as one of the success factors. It should be structured and comprehensive. So ISO 31000 is the best fit for enterprise-wide risk management practices or framework implementation. So it says, let it be a structure in a very organized way, and it should be the comprehensive one. It should be comprehensive to cover all the departments, the locations, different people, tools, technologies. So it should cover everything. Right? It should be customized, customizable, and customized also. Right? It should be inclusive. So the comprehensiveness and the inclusivity, these two principles, they almost go hand in hand. Right? It should be dynamic enough so that I can make the changes when when the need arises. Your business processes will keep on evolving, your business needs will keep on changing, your products and services will evolve. So your risk management framework also should evolve. And I remember way back when cloud based solutions were picking up, I was part of a project wherein a large financial company in US, they were migrating 400 plus of their applications on the cloud. So imagine 400 plus applications were sitting on their local servers, local data centers, and now they wanted to migrate it to the cloud. A huge assessment and risk assessment exercise was performed, and it took almost 6 months to do that risk assessment and come up with only the roadmap how it could be done. But the framework was so dynamic enough, we were able to provide the solutions under that framework. Now, because the risk itself is uncertainty, right? So you will be, or you have to plan the responses with the best available information at that point in time. That is why revisiting the risks, reviewing the risk at a periodic, at a fixed frequency is a very must, because your decision making is based on the available information at that point of time. Your human and cultural factors also will play a very important role. A simple example is no tailgating policy. Every organization will have this policy, no tailgating. So tailgating, sorry. So you will be given your swipe card, or some way, your fingerprints, facial scan, something to enter into the office premises, and nobody should tailgate you. This is very important from the information security risk management perspective. Now, if you don't have that human and cultural factors taken into consideration while training and while implementing the risk frameworks, people may overlook this, and that will pose a risk to your information. So human and cultural factors also should be taken into consideration. Right? And then continual improvement is a must. Whatever I have done today, I must think of the possible ways to improve it tomorrow. Not in the literal sense, but to improve it over a period of time. Right? So based on these principles, there is a framework, and then there are processes. And then this clause 4, 5, and 6, the typical ISO standard will be structured in the terms of clause and controls. So this clause 4, 5, and 6. So 5 says how the framework is. So at the center of this, it says leadership and commitment. So with the leadership and their commitment, I need to design, I need to implement the framework. I will be evaluating this framework periodically. I'll go for the improvements, and I'll ensure that it is integrated across the functions, across the locations, and the different aspects of my ecosystem or organization. And to follow this and to bring these principles and framework in practical life, in reality, the framework, the ISO 31000 standard, gives us processes. So there are multiple processes, right from definition of the scope, context, criteria, then risk assessment. So you identify the risk, you assess the risk, you plan for the risk treatment, you keep on monitoring and reviewing. So there are many characteristics of risk, like velocity, how fast or slow the risk is moving. Then there is exposure. So if this risk materializes, how many of my objectives are exposed? So there are multiple characteristics of risk which you will have to keep on monitoring and reviewing from time to time. and keep on communicating this as well. So that communication, consultation, then record your risk findings, report these risk findings, be it at the project level, portfolio level, program level, or at enterprise level. So ISO 31000 mostly refers to or is applied at the enterprise level. Right? So this is how, in a nutshell, the ISO 31000 framework is structured. Now let's look at the PMI RMF, Risk Management Framework. More or less, the activities will remain the same, but the applicability, as you can see on the right hand side, it starts from the strategic level, business level risk. So identify business risk. And when you are identifying the risk, please do not forget to identify the opportunities also. I was working with this one multinational company, and they had one of their clients in Singapore. Almost 180 people were working in that engagement in Singapore. And suddenly Singapore government decided not to allow the expats or working visas for almost 1 year. And that was the same time when my employer won another contract in Singapore. Now, this was an opportunity, but it turned into a threat because onboarding new people, bringing people from offshore to on-site, it became very difficult. Moving the people who were within Singapore to another project also was difficult. So this opportunity actually turned into a threat for some period of time. Of course, that was managed, that was mitigated. But then, yes, this kind of situations wherein opportunity turning into threat or threat turning into opportunity is always possible. So you start with the risks at the business level. Okay. Then it goes down to the portfolio level. Right? So here you translate your strategic objectives into organizational values. Then it goes down to programs, and then it goes down to the project level. Now, at each of these level, you have to plan your risk management activities, as what is given on the left-hand side. Now, what do I mean by plan your risk management activities? You have to define your tolerances, your budgets, your risk owners, risk action owners. What is your risk appetite, right? So you have to plan your risk management approach according to your business culture, according to your organizational culture. Then you will start identifying the risk. And then when risk identification starts, you have to see at which level you are working or you are focusing. Then there are two different types of risk analysis, qualitative and quantitative. In a very brief, what is the difference? Qualitative is where you attach the likelihood of the risk in the qualitative scale. Very low, low, medium, high, very high. Right? And then you find what is my risk score. So your likelihood into your impact. So how many of my objectives will get impacted if this risk occurs? So you multiply these two and you get the risk score, and then you decide how do I want to respond to various risks at this risk score or beyond this level of risk score or below this level of risk score. So you can do the qualitative risk analysis. That is not good enough. Of course, that helps you establish the foundation, but that is not good enough when your projects, when your programs, portfolios, business risks are very critical. If you're the risk manager for a 12 billion USD project, then you cannot only depend on high, low, very high, very low kind of a scale. So there is where you bring the quantitative risk analysis, wherein you start with the probability. The probability of the risk will occur and the probable impact. How many of the objectives, what is the percentage of the objectives that will be impacted? Right? So you do the quant, and then there are many standard methods like Monte Carlo simulation and others, which will help you to do the qualitative risk analysis also. Right? Now, this will help you to understand what is the impact of your risk, whether you have the budget, whether you have the people, and then you have to take all this information together to come up with the response. If this risk occurs, if I do not get artificial intelligence technology skilled resources, what will I do? Right? Will I hire it from market, or will I partner with some boutique shop, or will I upskill my resources, existing resources? What is the response that you want or you would like? Now, again, here there could be different levels of responses that you may want to plan. Right? And then you wait. You wait and see if the risk is materializing. Right? Sometimes you take the action even before the risk materializes. You will try to reduce the impact of it. You try to reduce the probability of it. Sometimes you just wait and see, and when the risk materializes, immediately you will respond to that risk with the response that what you have planned. Right? And of course, to be able to respond, you have to keep on monitoring the risk. Correct? So this is what again, this goes in a very detail when you look at the PMI risk management framework. But at a very nutshell, this is how the PMI risk management framework looks like. All right. Okay. So before we go to sleep, let's take another 5 questions quickly. Okay. What you can do is you can type what you think is the appropriate answer in the chat box.
Yes.
You can just say A, B, C, or D. And when I see some good responses, we'll see what is the answer. Okay, so Daryl says B, 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 B. Okay, B, A, B. Fantastic. Okay. Let's see the answer B. Yes. Yes, an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, has a positive or negative impact on the objectives. Thank you.
So
The
level one
next
is
one.
crossed, huh?
Yeah, level 1 is crossed.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go for second question. So Daryl says C, which is the first step in the risk management process. Okay, KUC is C, C, C. Yes, I think almost everybody agrees. So answer is C. Thank you. Let's go to the third question. What is the main purpose of risk register? Okay. Subramanyeshwar says question should be what is the order? Okay, B here, risk register. It is B. Very good. I think everybody is aware about the basics. So moving to question 4. Risk appetite refers to D. Okay. So Daryl says D for question 4. Nitin says B, B. Okay. Most of you are now again saying B. Yes, B, not the D, because D is about a single stakeholder. Okay, so risk appetite is under 31,000. It will be much at a larger scale. So yes. And then now, sorry, this is question 5. This is typo. This is question 5. So please read this. Very simple short scenario is given here. Yeah. So for question 5, please read this. After implementing multiple risk responses, a project team reports that its residual risk exposure has reduced by 60%. However, internal audit finds that new dependencies and control weaknesses have emerged due to those responses. So some risks were responded, and the residual risk exposure has reduced by 60%. But the internal audit finds that some new weaknesses have emerged. Okay, the questions ask which statement reflects the correct analytical interpretation in alignment with both ISO 31000 and PMI RMF. Okay, so A, C, I would like to see some more responses. Yeah, okay. So Nitin also says C. Okay. C. Okay. Fair enough. I think that's a very good understanding about the risk management. Yes. So reduction in one exposure doesn't confirm success unless new interlinked risks are assessed. So just because it has reduced by 60%, I cannot see that it was completely successful because it has given rise to some other risks.
So people have good understanding without any training as such.
Without
Also.
training as such.
That's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing, and that even tells me that this understanding needs to be transformed into consistency, which is like, formally standardizing and then keeping it going on. Absolutely. Thank you. Right. So between ISO 31000 and PMI RMF, there is an alignment. And I'll first show you this Excel sheet. Right. So this is the alignment matrix, right? Which shows the alignment or integration opportunities in the different areas, mapping the clauses from ISO 31000 and then PMI RMF. Right. So it talks about this integration opportunities, alignment opportunities.
I think you should little enlarge actually.
No, actually, these points are there on the slide, the opportunity points. So I'll read it from the slide. That will be better. I just brought this Excel to show that, yes, there's something more. The mapping has been done, established. And then these opportunities are listed here. So, the first alignment is 31,000 as enterprise level philosophy and PMI in the project execution, PMI RMF in the project execution. So executive sponsorship and project governance alignment should happen. Your top level executive sponsorship towards the risk culture building, and your project governance, which is giving the budget and resources for project level risk management, they should align. Okay. So from top to bottom. Then embed risk management into all business and project activities. Use PMO as the bridge between the enterprise and project risk management. Wherever there is a PMO established, and it is not only the operational PMO. It is not a team which only looks after some invoicing and resourcing. Where they actually participate in tactical and strategic initiatives and decision making, and then they have a complete visibility across the portfolio or even across at the organizational level, enterprise level. That helps tremendously to develop this unified risk management. So PMO, establishing PMO is one of the very proven successful way. So ISO provides structural guidance for enterprise context, and PMI provides specific procedural templates and plans. If you remember at ISO, we saw the principles, framework, and processes. So it doesn't get down into which exact method or technique will you use, like whether you will use some Excel-based calculations or you want to go with the standard methods, like say Monte Carlo simulation. It doesn't give you, the ISO 31000 doesn't give you those kind of templates or techniques, while PMI RMF does provide that. Okay. So integrate both these for the consistency. Then use PMI processes to operationalize ISO framework policies. So in the ISO frameworks, you will build the policies, you will build the processes. So use this PMI guidelines or PMI techniques, templates to operationalize this ISO principles and the framework there. So to put it on the ground working, you can use the PMI. Then establish KPIs and performance metrics from ISO evaluation to feed into PMI project reviews. So you define your KPIs or your performance metrics at the organizational level, and then you drill it down to your project level reviews. Then leverage PMI's lessons learned processes for continual enhancement of ISO risk framework. Now here we are going from project level to enterprise level. So at the project level, you are building the lessons learned, the knowledge repositories. And then those knowledge repositories are being used to update or enhance your organization-wide risk practices. Right? So here now we are going from below to top. Then ISO defines organizational context and risk criteria. PMI focuses on the project context. The integration point is ISO's treatment options, risk responses. So avoid, share, reduce, retain. In fact, there are 2, 3 more like exploit, enhance, right? So these kind of treatment options or responses, they map directly to PMI response strategies. Okay. Even these responses, they are more or less similar in the other frameworks like your management of risk by Axelos or like your NIST, which is focused on the information security risk, especially used in the US geography. So PMI's ongoing monitoring fits directly into ISO's continuous review requirements. ISO has a requirement of continuous. Continuous is you define a frequency, and many of you even have responded like monthly, half yearly, you do the review work. So this review or during this review, what you bring is your matrices, your data through your PMI's activities into your organizational activities. Okay. So ISO requires documentation and reporting. Now, what you can do is for satisfying or complying with this ISO requirement, you can always use the PMI provided templates, logs, techniques, which will help you to document, to analyze the data, reporting, which will comply or which will help you comply with the ISO requirements. Then, okay, so this we talked about project level lessons to enhance enterprise risk framework maturity. And then ISO stresses ongoing two-way communication. PMI provides practical project level stakeholder engagement tools. So ISO covers the entire stakeholder gamut, internal, external. The PMI RMF focuses on the project level, if you are implementing it at a project level, or program or a portfolio level. So at that particular level, the PMI will focus, they will focus on management of the stakeholders and the respective risks on these stakeholders and about these stakeholders. It will focus on that, whereas ISO covers the entire ecosystem gap. Okay. So this alignment matrix with just give me a second. So this alignment matrix with the clauses and everything is available. Okay. All right. Then implementation roadmap. So in simple words, ISO as why and what, and PMI as how. So ISO gives principles, governance, integration, whereas PMI framework gives processes, tools, templates, how to be executed, what techniques to be followed. Okay. So let us see another template here, which is for the implementation roadmap. So this is a very generic one prepared. So I just kept it as a phase 1, phase 2. And then you have the checklist items, reference to the framework, and then who is responsible and what are the deliverables. And when you are using it as a checklist, you can say status, whether you have completed, not completed, partially completed. So there is this complete checklist of 30 to 35 items. which can be used to draw the roadmap for integrating this. So what are these items? Say strategic objectives definition, scope of integrated risk management. So you might have heard about enterprise level risk management, ERM solutions, ERM tools.
ERM tools.
Yeah, so those are based on, or they follow standards like ISO 31000, which is for the enterprise level. But what we are talking about is integration between the enterprise ERM and your project level. So integrated risk management framework you can define, stakeholder identification, definition of your risk appetite and tolerance. So in simple words, if I have 10 lakh rupees, what is my risk appetite? Will I go and gamble with all this entire 10 lakh rupees, or will I save it? How is my culture? How much is my appetite? What is my threshold? So I'm very sure all of you must be doing some level of market trading. So you know the tolerance, or you know the threshold, right? In terms of the financial risk. See, again, what I have spoken about these two frameworks and things, I spoke about the levels, but these risks should be identified per department or per function wise. Your financial risks will be different. Your delivery risks will be different. Your human resource risks will be different. Your even at the simplest level, IT asset level risks will be different. Right? So you have to consider every area which may impact your project. Then you map the existing processes and tools. You define the categorization of the risk. As I said, different departments wise, define or standardize the templates and tools, communication, escalation metrics. Now, for a finance related risk, you will not escalate that to a delivery head. That will most likely will go to the finance head. Similarly, delivery related risks will not go to the finance head. So you define the communication and escalation protocols, your KPIs, your matrices. Then you roll out the trainings, awareness, identification workshops, then planning, monitoring, and then it continues into the regular audits, analyzing the trends. And when you do it at a project level, yes, definitely it will help you. The same inputs can be taken for the program or portfolio level. When you do it at the enterprise level with ISO 31000, the outputs, the results can be drilled down to your project level also. Right? So this is quite a good detailed checklist which is given there. Right? All right. So see, now what we have seen is the alignment matrix, how these two frameworks they align. Then how should I implement it? So the checklist for that. And when I implement these two frameworks in an integrated way, sorry, I need to again open an Excel sheet. There is an integrated risk register. Many places, wherever I do the implementation or the audit, the risk register is very simple. ID, category, your risk description, and then probability, impact, and score. That's it. Some 4 or 5, maybe at the most, they will identify who is the responsible person, when was it identified, and what is the current status. Those kind of 7-10 items will be there. But when we are looking at an integrated risk management implementation, you see there is a very comprehensive risk register that you will have to prepare. Okay. So what these items are, so it starts with risk ID, then your risk category, strategic, operational, financial. Then it is the process or the areas affected. Business process, a particular department will be affected, or a project will be affected. Then you describe the risk, a clear statement. Okay. Then you find the risk, the root cause for the risk, the trigger for the risk, the source of the risk, from where it is coming. Is it internal? Is it external? Is it because of some technology train changes? Is it because of some political things which are happening outside and that may impact my operations? So what is the source there? Then your risk event, then the consequences. If I have 10 different objectives of the project, how many objectives will be impacted? Correct? Then for this risk, who is the owner? Who is the accountable person? Then the likelihood, then the impact. Okay, then the risk rating or score. So that is your priority, your quantitative assessment. Not all the projects or organizations will go for quantitative assessment. It requires a certain level of process maturity. Data should be available, then only it helps. But yes, if it is applicable, the quantitative assessment, right? Then the response strategy. What is going to be the response? Okay, avoid, mitigate, transfers, share, enhance, exploit. Then action owner. See, there is a difference. There is a risk owner. See, there is a risk owner, so person who is accountable, and there is a responsible person, action owner. This is quite a considerable difference, because the action owner is actually somebody who will be implementing the responses. Now that could be internal or even external. Correct? And somebody internal will be accountable for it. And that accountable person needs to get the response implemented by somebody external. So you need to have this RACI matrix very clearly identified. Otherwise, there could be the confusion, and the risk may hit bad. Right? Then, target timeline.
I think we lost
I
him,
think
right?
we lost him.
You will join soon. I hope. We don't have any backup for this, right? Okay, there is no fallback plan. So there are limitations to manage risk actually. So
Yeah, but we can still, Vivek, we can still utilize this time to discuss some of the basic fundamental issues with the risk management as a practice. So, the
we will.
fundamental level, why normally people or the organization, especially MSME companies, are hesitant to devote time and resources for risk management. What is your experience?
Uh, I, I, Mahesh is back actually. So,
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
my laptop battery actually died down. I didn't realize it was going down. I'm
hmm,
sorry.
hmm, hmm, hmm. So
Okay.
let's complete this.
Yeah, sure.
Mahesh, just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So I feel it's not only risk management, the entire planning side is a little weak. And
Mhm.
risk is a largely a planning side actually. And it requires a lot of like a data collection efforts, having a foresight, discussing with various stakeholders, a considerable work to do a proper planning. So because planning is weak and risk risk is required even more data, not everywhere, but if you, this is only related to project, but if you go into financial sectors like mutual fund, insurance, everywhere they are doing quantitative risk analysis like morning to evening with very expensive tools, because that's what, if they don't do, they lost everything.
Yes.
But on the project side, it's very passive actually. Yeah, so good questions. Let's go back to Mahesh. Mahesh is back. So Mahesh, let's continue.
Yeah. Sorry for that drop. Okay. So we're talking about this integrated risk register. So you can have this contingency plans, early warning indicators. What is the status as at the review stage of the risk? Whether is it like, are you ready, or you are still building the response, or the risk materialize, it did not materialize. Sometimes what happens is you may respond to another risk, and this risk may get either reduced or completely eliminated also. Correct. So what is the status of that? What is the monitoring frequency you want? So there was a question also about the reviews. How many times, at what frequency do you review? Okay. and then escalation level and lessons learned. Some of the columns are commonly used in the project management also. Some of them are very specific to the risk. Right? So this is integrated risk register, which again will come handy. Okay. Okay. Right. So there's a small activity I have planned, which wherein I expect your participation, everyone's participation, and feel free to use the chat box. Read this background or the scenario on the screen. So it says your organization, Finnova Corp, a multinational financial services company, has approved a strategic initiative to migrate all customer and financial data from on-premise systems in 5 countries to a new cloud-based platform. This is very similar to one of my real life projects somewhere in 2012, 2013. Okay. The project budget is USD 15 million with an aggressive timeline of 9 months. The migration is critical for regulatory compliance and digital transformation objectives. So current situation, the vendor contract has been signed with a US-based cloud provider. Data privacy regulations vary across regions, right? And even within US, it varies from state to state. So it's like state of California, they have their own Data Privacy Act, and there are many more other states which have they have their own data privacy regulations and acts. So migration requires coordination across multiple business units and legacy systems, and internal IT teams have limited cloud migration experience. Okay. Very similar to my real life experience. So what I'm asking is identify at least 3, you can identify more key risks, okay, that could affect the success of the project. Okay. Classify each as enterprise or strategic or project or operational. Okay. And then you would like to identify the type of that, what will be the potential impact. You may go with the percentage number also. And what do you think? What is your suggested treatment or mitigation action? Whether you would like to share a particular risk, whether you would like to transfer the risk to someone else, whether you would like to accept a particular risk. So there could be certain risk which can be accepted. We don't do anything, we accept it, and we take the action what was planned. Even though we are aware that there is a risk, if we take this action, we accept it. Okay. So what will
So
be your
basically, identification of the risk,
yes.
categorizing them, either it is an enterprise strategic or project operational. Brief description, what exactly the risk is, what is the event, what type, what kind of, what do you mean by type?
Whether it is a financial, resource related,
Okay, category.
technology category. Yeah.
Category. Okay, category. What kind of, which category the risk is? Like it is a financial, it is external, internal, resource related, or
Internal.
financial related, something like that. And what is the impact of this? What is potential impact?
Correct.
And how do you suggest to respond to this, right? Correct?
Uh,
Response. Yeah, response to this. So let's give a couple of minutes to people and they can. So people like your participation is required. Please, you can just see about some risk and maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 and put in the chat and let's see what kind of risk we see here. So friends, your Mahesh need your help to get some risks
yes.
identified.
Keep the answer short, no worries. We will discuss, or if you would like, you can even this.
Not necessarily 3 risk. You can also write down about one risk also.
Or two
One
also,
risk is
yeah.
also fine.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay, we got
Joe
one.
says cybersecurity. Yeah, cybersecurity and data privacy. Okay. Yes, data privacy is related to cybersecurity, but these two are looked at as different things. You are
Okay.
right in identifying these two. Nitin says limited internal IT experience in large scale cloud migration. Okay, that's a risk. Agree.
Okay, we got a couple of them now. Potential impact,
Type
project claim.
is project. Potential impact, project delay, treatment, knowledge transfer. Nitin, why are you saying this risk is only at a project level? This IT experience, limited IT experience in large scale cloud migration, will it not impact the uh, entire initiative?
Actually, the first point I came across is the project. That's the reason I mentioned project. But I
Okay.
do agree.
There will be
maybe
some.
maybe operational can be the type. Maybe we can look out here instead of
Right.
project.
Right. And some kind of enterprise level impact also will be there if this gets delayed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Noted.
The next
So
one is
it will
also
be an
same.
integrated. Resource technical skills, yeah, it is also similar one.
Same
Yes.
technical, the migration experience is not there. Okay.
Correct. Then Sumit
That
says
is,
data segregation plan, strategic and operational discontinuity during migration, that is operational risk, time over when there is operational, and data loss is operational. Okay. Okay. Data security breach during migration. Okay. Coordination challenges across countries and business units. Raghunathji, why this data security breach during migration?
Because it is across the countries, across the regions. So there might be data security breach depending on the region wise.
Yes, because if
So,
they are moving on a single SaaS platform,
uh,
then there is a chance of this kind of thing happening. In fact, as there is a data breach risk, there is
so
the loss of data integrity risk also can be thought of.
okay, yeah,
While I'm
integrity.
moving the data, while I'm migrating the data,
Mm-hmm.
there is a risk on the data integrity as well.
So it comes, I think, enterprises level, project level risk,
Yes, yes.
and the coordination
It is an
challenge.
integrated. It is an integrated. That is what I wanted to bring out. Like in this
Yeah.
kind of real life projects, you cannot only look at the project to see the risk. You have to take an integrated approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a very large initiative. This is like a very strategic thing which is changing, and we are changing it through one project, but we are changing at a strategic level. So it has to be an integrated approach in such cases.
you have cross-unit coordination
Coordination,
complexity.
yes, agree.
I think there are many stakeholders group, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Skill
Skill mismatch. I think that is
mismatch.
a technical one.
Technical.
Failed
Customer
transaction
request.
system downtime. I think this is operational one then. Failed
Yes, that
transaction
will be the
system
operational
downtime.
one. Yes, that will be the operational one. Yes. And lack of internal cloud migration expertise, in
But this is
compliance with
important,
data
Mahesh.
privacy.
Customer trust erosion due to breaches.
Absolutely.
That a cascading effect,
Absolutely.
or it is a like a direct effect?
It could be even a direct effect. Because see,
Hmm.
while these data and applications are being migrated, it will definitely have some applications wherein it is the direct customer facing. So it could be the direct impact as well.
Lack of internal cloud migration
Cloud
expertise. Yeah,
migration
it is
experts. So again,
same.
about the resource skill, compliance with data privacy regulations.
Compliance
Yes,
with
now this is again a very compliance is again a very sensitive matter and data privacy regulations. So yes, again because the in the case it is talking about different locations. So the law of the land for data migration changes. So yes, integrate end-to-end integration risk. Yes, then issues with laws and regulations due to different regions and compliance issues. Correct. Then cloud service
because of the different
provider.
reason in this, the understanding of the regulatory requirement could be a complex thing in my opinion.
Yes, the
I think this is what
resources
key.
with the understanding of
Yes.
this thing. Because for this, one of the projects for Qatar client, we had to actually go through their privacy law before we were able to, suggest them anything on the data privacy side of it.
Hmm. Correct,
So
correct.
that always becomes a challenge. Yes. And cloud service
Clouds.
providers inability to continue to provide services in your country. Okay, correct. So all IT company compliance with the PDPA delays, have alternate service providers are located. Yes. But in real life, this alternate service providers available could be again another challenge because say something like DPDP, which is a very new thing which is coming up. So GDPR actually came into existence, I think in 2011, 2012. But by 2015, 2016, it was not being implemented or followed. So ultimately in 2016, EU Commission made it mandatory. They started imposing the fines and then the organizations, they woke up and then there was a rush to implement and be compliant with GDPR. So yes, compliance with these things is always a problem.
I think the
Aggressive
same
timeline,
situation is in India also.
same situation is
DPD,
India
many
also.
people
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
even what DPDP
What
exists,
DPDPA, correct, correct, absolutely,
actually.
absolutely. And this aggressive timeline, absolutely, you got it rightly. 9 months to migrate entire thing is very less. Is very less. So that could be another big risk to be looked into. But then that will be well, this risk will be at the project level. The impact could be at the enterprise level also.
Enterprise.
So change management risk, yes. Financial and contractual risk. Contractual risks will be more. Financial depends on 15 million, how they are planning to spend it. But yes, contractual could be very highly impacting risk.
Good exercise. I think we
And
should move on.
yeah,
We are moving towards the
okay,
timing
okay,
actually.
okay. But this is great. Thank you so much for being so participative. And yeah, let's look at it. Oh, I think I had given some sample, but then we got a lot more, from the participants. So that's
Right.
okay. It's okay.
Good. Good.
Right. So I think we are at the end of it. Open for question answers.
Yeah, you can stop the sharing actually.
Yeah. Any questions?
I
I can
have one
ask.
question.
Yes.
And that question is where this BCP disaster management actually fit in.
That is also a risk management. Now see, BCP is business continuity plan. Okay. Earlier, like last decade, till last decade or sometime like that, the organizations used to be heavily dependent on the backup recovery and disaster recovery mechanisms. Okay. As the technology evolved, as the businesses evolved, services evolved, it became very important to be resilient in your business operations. Okay. That is the place where the BCP started gaining the importance. BCP was there. I'm not saying it was not there, but then it started gaining the importance. It started getting all the attention when this resilience factor became very important or started becoming important. So BCP is business continuity plan.
So is it at a strategic level or at a project level?
No, it is at a strategic level. It is at a strategic level. It is in fact at a or should be applied at an enterprise level.
Enterprise level.
Right. And then again, it has a very strategic perspective also, but then at the ground level, when you do the risk identification for your business continuity, you have to look into very, very ground level realities. Like for in Mumbai, when it starts raining, when the monsoon starts, at least 1 or 2 days, people will not be able to reach to offices. Be it Mumbai, be it Delhi, because of the certain situations. So that should be identified as a risk. How will you continue your business in such kind of situations? Right? So it starts from this ground level things. And then again, that is all about identifying the risk and how you are going to respond and mitigate those risks. So as I said, 27001, even the BCP, that is 22301, BCMS, it is all about the risk management.
Okay. Let's look at that. Somebody else has any question. Maybe we can take 1 or 2 questions. We are almost on time.
Yes.
If anybody has any questions.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, so ISO 31000 is a framework, right? Not a certification standard.
Yes,
Like
it is a
ISO
framework. It is not a
like
certification
not
standard.
the ISO 9001
Correct,
standards, right?
correct. You
So
like
what is the
company will.
tangible? Yeah, so what is the tangible value for an organization in aligning with it if the organization don't get a certificate to hang on the wall?
Okay. I will answer some of the negative
That is also a
practices.
risk actually, right?
I agree. But then see, certification to hang on a wall is one thing. And then there are organizations like Accenture who don't, they openly say we don't believe in this certifications, even if they are doing at some unit level. It could be some other factors which are driving it. But there are such organizations also. Then how 31,000 helps an organization, correct? If it is not certifiable standard. It establishes the context that my risk management is very standardized. I'm following a particular method. I'm very organized in terms of when it comes to the risk management. Right? That gives a confidence to the stakeholders that for this or within this organization, the risks must have been identified and the response actions have been decided. So there are good practices about it. So my information, my data, my financials are safe with this organization. But as you rightly said, it is not a certifiable standard. So organization will not get a certificate for their work.
No.
Yes.
There is also a confusion among the team about risk appetite and risk tolerance. So from the ISO 31000 point of view, how does this concept translate into day-to-day operational decisions for the team?
Okay, so before I go there, I'll give a very simple real life example. Risk appetite and risk tolerance. Let's say I have 10 lakh rupees and my appetite is to invest, say, 8 lakh rupees. I'm okay to invest 8 lakh rupees. Okay, beyond that, I don't want to go. Okay, my tolerance is where do I want to invest this 8 lakh? How much in maybe gold? How much maybe in shares? So what level I want to stop in these different instruments?
What about gambling?
Gambling. So how much I want to invest in gambling? Yeah, correct. Okay. How does it translate for the organizations or in terms of the 31,000? It helps at an organization level, it helps to draw some boundaries. Right? See, when an organization makes investments, like for example, there was a real life situation wherein the organization wanted to bid for a project in South Africa, and South Africa says that you have to have a business entity in the country, otherwise you cannot bid for a project here. So this organization decided to partner with a local entity. Now, when this kind of engagement is happening, then how much is my appetite to invest into this partnership for the project, and what is my tolerance level? How much, of course, the loss I can tolerate, and how much in depth I want to go into. So this kind of situations wherein these two factors will come into picture.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
I think we are approaching time, Ketan. I think we should
Okay.
have time to
This is the
wrap up.
last important question. Just a short answer would be enough. What are some key performance indicators we can use to demonstrate that our organization's risk management program is actually working?
Those need not be about your risk management. Those could be your business related KPIs. Internally, behind the scenes, those will be supported by your risk management practices. See, finally, it is, sorry, the compliance bodies or the compliance bodies or the client, they are not interested in looking at how good or bad my internal risk management practices are. How it reflects into their service experience, that is the matter. So I think that end metrics would be good enough. Internally, you can have any KPIs and matrices to track it.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, I think on behalf of Project Managers Club of Pune, I thank you and also Vivek and Professor Jayabhai for organizing this such a interactive and experiential learning program on the risk management. You actually deep dived into many concepts, not only just limiting to ISO 31,000, but also mapping with the PMI, and you have elaborated in such a nice way, which is easy to understand, and also your spontaneous answers are quite relevant and useful for the participants. So thank you very much. And thanks to all participants who participated actively in all the activities, in surveys, in case studies or analysis. So once again, thank you all. Hope to see you in the next month with another interesting program. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think late question from Sumit. Yes, Sumit, we can use 31,000 for IT project management.
Yes. Okay. So thank you very much to everyone, and see you next month with a new topic. And I hope we will get some more people along with the people already here. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Ketan. Thanks, everyone.